God bless everybody today. It is February 24th of 2024. I've been awful busy lately, so I have not been able to put any videos out, but I am going to place a number of videos out in the next couple days, and they are going to be topic sensitive to very specific topics so we can break this up. There's just so much happening out here, and we just need to cover each and every topic on its own. So the first topic we're going to cover in this video is about Hezbollah. Hezbollah's war is getting ready to break out. We're in a season right now that basically is dictating a stalemate because they're in winter. Okay, but that's going to break out soon. Once you get through this rainy winter, cool season where the tanks can't move and different things like that, March, April starts to open up just as it is here. And so this war is going to escalate as you move into April. And I keep talking about April. It's going to be extremely volatile, violent month. And you have all those eclipses and things coming through all about the same time. I show you on the paradigm. I believe April is an extremely important month where we could even see a potential 6th seal event and a ushering in of an antichrist. So in this article, it talks about the IDF, or the Israeli Defense Forces, strike in Lebanon as Hezbollah rockets rain in Israel's north. And this is escalating. We're watching Hezbollah pounding the northern portions of Israel, mainly residential. A lot of these properties are getting destroyed. There's 85,000 residences or residential people in Israel that have had to move from those homes, and so Israel needs to and has talked about creating this buffer zone, which is not going to matter because this has happened before and it's never stopped Hezbollah in the past. And so basically they're going to have to do what they're doing in the south with Hamas. They're going to have to eliminate this threat called Hezbollah, just as they're going to have to eliminate this threat called Hamas. So when you get down into this article, it says the IDF struck southern Lebanese sites from which rockets were fired on northern Israel cities and towns throughout Saturday. And this has starting to ramp up tremendously. So as Israel applies more pressure, Hezbollah is going to apply more pressure also. Part of what is happening is Hezbollah is trying to offset some of the destruction down in the south where Israel's going against that region of Haifa and those areas in the southern tip around Egypt and that border crossing. And so they're trying to offset some of that pressure by striking them in the north. And so Israel has to then use resources on both sides of this equation, on the north and the south. So it indicates that Sirens sounded throughout these regions in southern Lebanon. This was just within the last 24 hours, and so this has not stopped. It's going to continue. Also on Saturday, the IDF drone identified a terror cell entering a military compound controlled by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, leading to a strike carried out by Israeli Air Force jet fighter on the compound. More military sites were struck across the area in southern Lebanon. And so this is not slowing down. This is actually ramping up. And I believe once you get into spring or closer into spring, things start to dry up. Israel will then make a movement in there. The question will be whether Hezbollah does their own invasion prior to that. And in this article from the Middle East Monitor, it talks about how Israel is hitting 4 new Lebanese areas, and so they're doing basically a bombing of the whole southern portion of Lebanon to try to drive back Hezbollah. Hezbollah is trying to regroup as this moves forward, and they know that this wet season is going to lift here soon, and so they're going to have to do something about this. So just realize that there is these 4 different areas that are being targeted, and so this is not going away anytime soon, and we're just going to see this ramp up more. These attacks by Israel that have ramped up in the last 48 hours is due to an escalation by Hezbollah, where Hezbollah attacked 13 targets in 14 hours. And so Israel, of course, had to retaliate due to these attacks on their border. If you click onto the Syrian Live Map, it's extremely active out here, and this is a like I say, Israel's fighting a two-pronged war right now. Actually, probably multi-pronged war, but two for sure. Hezbollah in the north and Hamas in the south. As you can see, this is escalating. I'm not going to go through all these stories, but you can see all the different areas that Israel's hitting at this moment in time, or in the last 24 to 48 hours. And that these attacks are extreme, and they're just going to get worse. And as we, like I say, get into that drier season, and Israel then can mobilize their armor, this is going to start to break out even more. But look at all the different attacks, places that are getting hit, different things like that. When you break this out, and like I say, when you hit talking about 2 kings, 24, 1 and 2, we're talking about Turkey in that very first verse, and then it goes into these proxies around Lebanon, the West Bank, and Golan Heights, and through this area, okay? And how this would be a problem for Jerusalem over time. And so all these areas are going to start breaking out. You've already got this area down here in Gaza. Prophecy tells you that you should be watching a couple things. I've talked about this for some time. You should be watching Turkey up here do an invasion down into Syria and Iraq against the Kurds, and you're going to see a breakout from Hezbollah and the proxies around West Bank, Golan Heights, and Lebanon area through here. Also, this will affect Syria and Iraq and Jordan as you move forward in the next couple months. So there's just articles after articles after articles about different attacks that are happening over here and how they're targeting specific threats and infrastructure, soft and hard targets, basically trying to drive Hezbollah back to that Tigris River, which is not going to be a solution, because there have been treaties in the past or solutions where they've had this buffer zone and it doesn't seem to matter. Hezbollah just keeps raining down missiles, and so Netanyahu knows he has to eliminate this issue. You know, one thing that's happening in the background, we're having still these talks about the hostages, both on Israel's side and our side, because we both have hostages. No one knows exactly how many hostages are left. The last estimation was around 130 to 140, but they don't know how many of those people have perished, and so they're trying to figure out how to eliminate that problem. And Hamas is using that as a shield against these countries to sort of, try to hold down some of the carnage, because they have these people in strategical places that can be hit. And so Israel is extremely careful in trying to figure out what targets to hit, and so they're trying to eliminate as many casualties that aren't Hamas as possible, which is hard to do in this city. I know everybody's complaining about Israel, but if you had to go in and do what they're doing right now, it would be extremely difficult, and I don't think people quite understand just how difficult this is. And it's so difficult right now that basically the U.S. has frozen mediation efforts in the north until a ceasefire has been reached in the Gaza, area with Hamas, which is not happening. They tried to build a treaty or ceasefire in France with Qatar and a number of groups. That basically is not going anywhere. And Hamas's requirements for ceasefire are not sustainable for Israel. And Israel did a really bad thing to begin with. When they originally had this issue with Hamas, they in their infinite wisdom, why they did this, gave high value targets 1,000 people for one prisoner. Okay, that set extremely high bar, because now Hezbollah and Hamas feel they have an upper hand here, a card in their sleeve they can pull out at any time and say, you know what, you gave up 1,000 people for one. You know, we got like 130. So what are you going to give up for all these other guys? And Israel's saying, no, we screwed up. We won't allow that to happen again. And they did. I was amazed when I saw that trade come out, that they gave up 1,000 hardened criminals, basically, and other people to Hamas for one person. It was insane. So now these mediation talks are locking up and they're not going anywhere. And there's a reason for this, because this is the card that Hamas is pulling out. You know, it's got these hostages. Once they're gone, that the gloves are off. So, and now Iran is really becoming a problem with their nuclear capacity, and they're delivering all these weapons all over the place to Russia, Hezbollah, all these different groups throughout the world, Houthis, proxies, different things like that. Israel is now warning the UN of Iran's weapon delivery to Hezbollah, and this is extremely important because Iran sits on a lot of these committees and different things like that. So, you know, it's not going to matter. This escalation is not going away, and it just, you know, Iran is basically pulling all the strings over here. But Turkey's getting ready to come into this war soon, and that will be a game changer in the Middle East. So I just want to bring a lot of these stories to your attention. I also want to bring your attention to how this wet season is going to end here in the next month. And that is going to start to change the complexity of the ground game here, and how this is going to ramp up, and how I'd been talking about April, and how that's just going to be an extremely difficult month. Not only for these geopolitical wars, but also the markets. The markets are struggling right now. Yes, the Dow is up, but everything looks extremely bad, and those bonds are melting up, and it's just going, once this inversion uninverts, it's going to be a game changer on the monetary systems. God bless everybody. Find that open door. Find Jesus. It's extremely important. If you are not preparing, you need to get ready. Things are getting ready to change. Do not be complacent. I've always said that if you give any hope at all, they won't do anything. They'll wait till the last minute. Then it'll be too late. So I'm not going to give you any hope. I believe this is playing out, and I believe you need to get ready. And if you're not ready, I feel for you and your families as we move forward in the next 1,316 days from today to the Feast of Trumpets, October 2nd of 2027. The seventh trumpet, in my opinion, is the rapture date, and that's where we're heading right now. So you guys really need to be assessing your situations. You also need to be talking to people. I know a lot of people, more people are coming to me asking me questions about how to get ready and what they should be doing and all the things that they should be concerned about. My main emphasis is always water, food, warmth, hygiene, medicines, and basically how are you going to get through the next 1,316 days to the Feast of Trumpets 27, during that seventh trumpet sounding. So prepare and get ready. Be safe out there. God bless. Have a great day.